Everybody, I'm Andrea. Welcome back to my channel, From Shattered to Whole. If you're new to my channel, welcome. This channel is for featuring testimonies from people all over the country, and they just want to share their experiences and how God has brought them through. And I'm really excited today. I have a new guest today, and his name is Dustin. Once you give it all to God and you say, you know what, I'm done. I'm done. I give you my life. That's when things really start to change. No, we don't all know what our calling is. We're all different, and there's something different He wants us to do, each of us. His plans for your life are so much better than what you think you can do with your life. Hi, Dustin. How are you?
Doing well.
Thank you so much for sharing your testimony. It's amazing, and I know, somebody out there, will really needs to hear it and just hear, how you have gone through what you've gone through, how God brought you out. Tell me, what was the toughest season in your life and how God brought you through?
Well, I could say probably toughest because it was the longest duration was when I was like going through my addiction and homelessness. That was a very slow process that just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And so that was the toughest thing that God seen me out of.
How you finally got out of that? Like, how did He speak to you? How were you able to, it's hard to be there. You kind of like, you feel like you're in chains and you kind of feel hopeless, I would imagine. How did you finally see the light? What was it?
When I was in that situation, and even when I was at the lowest point, I would convince myself that it was still okay. I knew I needed to get out of it, but I didn't really want to. I was kind of okay being there. I had that breaking point of like just being so sick of losing. And then I started when I started lying a bunch and hiding where I was, coming up with excuses and things like that. To make it real short, I ended up getting uh gosh, actually I can't make this part short. There's no way to make this part short. Let's just say that I was supposed to be in prison and my mom found out that I wasn't in prison at that point. We can get into that spot in detail if you want to, because it's really hard to shorten that spot up. So
No,
basically
tell
what
your
happened,
story.
yeah, basically in this little section, the whole story itself can be like lengthy. So this is just like might sound like the whole thing because so much happened right here, but this is just a small piece. While I was after a relapse, actually, of going through it, and a relapse is always just as bad or worse quickly than when you were completely in your bondage. And so I had relapsed. I was on probation, and I knew I was going back to prison. And so my mom was going to take me to the probation office to turn myself in to go to prison because it's happening. I have enough points on my record at this point. I was on probation for 10 years, felony probation, and I violated it. When you violate felony probation, there's no second chance. You go straight to jail and you don't get out, right? Turn myself into the felony office, and my mom is saying goodbye to me, hugging me, knowing that I'm going straight to jail and everything. And so I get this brilliant idea that I'm going to wait for my mom to leave and I'm going to go and get high and then come back and turn myself in because I don't want to just go in like that. So I go do that and everything. 9 hours later, I come back to the probation office and it's, time to meet up with my probation officer. And she goes, "Hey, Mr. Greeley, nice to see you. I actually did not turn in your paperwork yet, so you can just go home and just turn yourself into the court date on the 19th of January. Just don't violate and not show up to your court date." And I'm like, this is the one time I'm not happy that I'm not in jail. I'm supposed to be in jail, lady. I'm supposed to be in jail. What's my excuse now? So I'm like, still going through that excuse mentality. And I'm like, I got this brilliant idea. I'm going to call Loving Hands Ministry and turn myself into there. And because it's a program for men with addiction. And I know the guys from Loving Hands Ministry because they would teach at the recovery pod in jail when I was in there for 14 months. And this was all in the same charge. I was in jail and they would come in there weekly. So I developed a relationship with them. So now I'm going through this all violation thing. I called Joe Hamblin, the executive director, and He actually answered the phone, which he never ever does because he's the executive director of a program. He's a busy guy, but he answered the phone for me and completely bypassed all of this stuff and said, "Yeah, you can, you come in here tomorrow and we'll get you right in here. Usually you got to call, set up a phone interview, fill out an application, and it's like weeks, but they were written." I was like, "Hey, wow, my little plan is gonna work. I'm a genius, this is gonna work." And so I'm going to the man's house again. I'm like, I'm gonna get high one more time and go there in the morning. And on the way to the guy's house, my mom just so happened to be driving down the road with my brother 2 blocks away. It's dark. It's January, so it gets dark at like 5:30. It's like 6:30. It's after probation closed. It's dark, and my brother, happened to be riding with her. He's blind as a bat, and he was looking down the street and just so happened to see me. And he was like, "Hey, mom, that was Dustin." And she's like, "That's not your brother. He's in jail." And they turned around and she pulled up next to me. And when she pulled up next to me, it's like, you need to get in this vehicle. Like, where have you been? A whole bunch of words were said, and I just like broke down, ugly cry, because it like I couldn't hide it anymore. It was a part of me died, is what it was, I think. And so that had to happen. You have to have a serious breaking point. And even when I was facing that 10 years in prison and stuff and being on that long probation, that still wasn't quite enough because I had relapsed that quickly, but I needed to need it for myself and not for other people, you know. And so that was one of the catalysts. And I know it made me stronger because, like, currently, I'm really going through probably, you said what's the toughest? I would say right now might be my toughest season, but that was the longest. But I know how to handle it better now because the Lord is on my side. So that's the thing. I'm not running to I was addicted to heroin, shooting it up. I was shooting it out of puddle water, everything, homeless, addicted to, you know, all of it, all of it, eating out of dumpsters and panhandling for my money. And
Praise God. Praise God. I
yeah,
mean, there's so many people that are out there that are in that situation and they feel like that. They feel like it's a never-ending revolving door of constant, all they're looking for is the next fix and they feel like there's no life. Like that's going to be their
that
life and
because
it's
that
over.
ends
It's
up being
over.
your life. If you're hooked on something like, the opiate scene, like I was, first it was just taking them orally, Lortabs and Percocets and stuff, and then going to like snorting Roxy's, and then shooting them up, and then they start taking those off the streets in Florida, like they shut down what they called the pill mills, and now pills are not readily available. What's a dope head gonna do? I need that thing. I'm sick without it. I have to have it. You took it from me. I'm gonna find it. Heroin is the next thing because it's all over the place. There's no pill mills. So that's why all the overdoses and how many times I overdosed but didn't actually pass away, you know. And so you have to have that. Your life is negated around that thing. And every time it wears off, you just gotta have it. It never takes a day off. And it's like if you're going through a terrible flu and your skin is crawling and it feels like your skeleton wants to jump out of your body and it only takes a $20 bill to fix that. You can do whatever you gotta do to get that $20 bill and make it go away, and you're good for another 4 or 5 hours, maybe 8 if you're lucky. You'll risk your life because you'll say, "He's got that strong stuff. So $20 will go a long way if I do it right." And I'll risk my life to say, "Hey, I'm smart enough. I'm only going to do a little bit or whatever, or I can handle it because I'm that strong. And I know it's going to get me right. I don't know if this dude's is fake. I haven't heard anything about it. And if I've worked this hard for this $20, so I'll go with the kill you stuff." It's a crazy mindset.
God is so good. I'm
It's
telling.
such a desperate, like, survival mindset.
And look at you now. I mean, it's just amazing how far you've come. You have your own business. You also have a YouTube channel, which I will talk about, in a little bit. But I mean, that it's amazing like how far you've come and the Lord has been there for you and he is your refuge and you are just leaning on him. And you probably have a really good community of people around you, right? I would imagine.
If I stray away from that community, I'm done. Just me and God alone. God can do it, but I can't. He created us for community. We have to have that.
That's right.
So there's a difference between solitude and isolation. If I isolate, that's no good because I have Loving Hands Ministry, the place that I graduated from. I stayed there for 16 months as a staff member, and I'm teaching there next Tuesday. I was gonna play softball there yesterday, but I was way too exhausted and work was too much. And then I got the worship team at church. I played drums for church, and I just had a meeting with them after church. I had to get some stuff off my chest and talk to them. And, that's an awesome community to just be able to share things with each other and,
That's the
people to help
difference too.
hold you up and you hold them up. And we all have that common goal, and that's to try to live godly lives to help each other do it.
Absolutely. No, and it's amazing because somebody out there is going through the exact same thing and needs to see that God has done it for you. He will do it for them, that our God is faithful and he is always there. He never leaves us nor forsakes us. And it's like we have to get to that point where we come to the end of ourselves, where you actually finally surrender. Like you said, you got to the breaking point, and as soon as you get to that point, that seems like when everything starts to change. And
Yeah,
that's how it
100%.
is. Yeah, with most people I talk to. And that's just amazing. It's amazing to see, it's God is so good
It's
all the
like
time.
it's like a fresh perspective, or like, a new chapter growing up or whatever, because you're so stuck in a certain box. But when you hit that breaking point, it's almost like the perspective shifts. Now you can see it from another angle or another light. Like, holy smokes, I've been wrong this whole time. Like, this actually is a lot better. I remember feeling so like crappy about my life that I would see people like walk their dog or something. Like, I remember staying in this abandoned house. There was no nothing. It was just a duplex, and that we were squatting in there, and I'd see people walking their dogs, and like, I wish I could just do that. Just get up. It's like hot out there, and he's like able to walk, but I'm feeling like so crappy and sick and sweaty, and I'm gonna have to go through that pile of clothes and feel what socks are less crunchy than the other ones to put on. Like, how do I get out of this?
And you
And
did.
you would just do the drugs to
Praise
feel
God.
normal. You're not getting high. You're just being able to like do what those other people are doing without having that extra thing.
My goodness. It's just I it is amazing. God continues to amaze me every day. I'm just always, always thankful and grateful, and especially when I get to talk to people that have, been through something, so traumatic and life-changing, that your testimony is going to help someone else. Just seeing that God has brought you through it. Do you have like any words of encouragement or anything that you would say to someone that is actually fighting and going through what you have gone through?
Hey, it's never too late. Changing locations is not the answer, because you are going to be wherever you go. So you have to change. You got to want it for yourself. That's a huge thing. You got to love yourself, I guess.
That's very true. You have to love yourself. That's right. And you have to put God first above everything. And once you do that and you surrender all, I think that's when life really starts to change for people. And I'm really excited that you actually have a YouTube channel. And, I checked it out and you actually are successful. And that is amazing. So everybody, Dustin has a YouTube channel and he tests fragrances out. And it's Fragrance Fan, right?
Yeah, fragrance fan.
Tell us a little bit more
Fragrance fan.
about that. Now, make sure I put in your link down below.
So, yeah, I own a bunch of fragrances, as you see, like behind me. Some of them are expensive fragrances, like that was like $140, but I don't review my niche fragrances. I review the ones that are cloning the niche fragrances. So all the budget friendly ones, and I let people know if they're good or not, because there's a lot of really good ones that are sub $40, 30, $20 that are just absolutely phenomenal. And some are not. So
Right?
I just review them, and some of them are making a real big name for themselves. These Middle Eastern companies are just disrupting the fragrance scene like crazy. They are, in fact, the video I'm going today, I'm gonna compare this fragrance. Like, this is a $30 fragrance, but look at this presentation. I'm gonna
Wow.
compare this fragrance to this fragrance, and they are both cloning or duping the same thing,
You're
because
doing
I
amazing.
I
You're
just
doing an
do it for
amazing
fun.
job.
I don't get sponsored by anybody. I have had things sent to me recently. Find like people are sending me things, but I don't get paid by any of it. And if it stinks, I'm going to say that it stinks. So I'm not like sponsored. I'm not like, oh, buy this because man, if you want an awesome friend. No, if it's good, then I'm excited about it. Yeah, these are good. But these ones might not be for everybody because they're sweet.
And that's what people are looking for. They're looking for truth and honesty, and you're doing it. I actually watched your channel and I was like, you're doing amazing. Like we all have to start from somewhere. And the fact that look at you, look where you are now. And like that's the whole point. You're actually living life and you're going to church and you're just living you're living in God's truth, every day. You're a child of God and that his plans for us are for good and not for harm, but to prosper us and to give us a future and hope. And look at you. Look at you. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make sure to put your YouTube channel in the link below because I know a lot of people that follow me love that stuff. So they're
That's awesome.
myself, I love perfume
Yeah,
and
and if
cologne.
there's women watching, a lot of these fragrances are unisex. Like this
Okay.
is a unisex fragrance. You could wear this as easily as I could. It's fruity and floral and fresh and sweet, but it's got a summertime vibe, but either could wear it.
That's amazing.
So
That's so amazing. I am so thankful to you. Thank you so much that you shared your testimony with everyone. I know it's not easy, and you're putting yourself out there, to try to affect someone else's life. Thank you, Lord, that you brought Dustin to me for that. And, you know, I wish you all the luck and I thank you so much for doing my show. May God
thank
bless
you.
you and always order
It's
your
my pleasure.
steps.
Anytime I can give the Lord glory, yeah, like it's
Yes,
all about him. And
that's right.
Revelation, what is it, 12? It's Revelation chapter 12. We overcame by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony, or
That's
they
right.
overcame by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. And you know, I
That
know that's in context, not necessarily talking about this, but
we did
it's still
overcome by
relevant,
by the blood
you
of the
know.
lamb by our testimonies. You're absolutely right. Yeah, that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to testify of his goodness and how good he is and that he's faithful. And you're doing it. I mean, I
Yeah,
I I
you
pray
can't
for
ever argue with
blessings.
somebody's testimony.
Nope. And they're all different. And that's what's so amazing. Nobody has the same story. And I'm just,
God
again,
had it.
thankful.
God is so much,
I
like so
know.
many divine things that happen. Before that story that I told you, when I was turning myself in, I got caught stealing. That's how I violated my probation when I had to turn myself into probation. Like, how did that happen? How did I violate? I was only out of a program for 19 days before I like ended up going back to loving hand. And I violated by like going into Home Depot. I wanted to score some drugs. I relapsed. So I went to Home Depot and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna steal some circuit breakers or whatever. It's a random thing, and I know I can like return them for a gift card. And it's my first time stealing something in a while. I walked straight in there and they caught me immediately because the theft prevention guy remembered me from 8 years ago from a whole nother town. And he was like, hey, watch that guy. I remember him. And they caught me. And when they arrested me, I violated that felony probation. So I'm not supposed to have a bond. But the cop was really cool with me and didn't like, he was like, hey, I'm just going to put petty theft so you can bond out tonight. And my mom's roommate paid her early that day. So she was actually able to bond me out. Otherwise, she wasn't going to be able to. I would have gone to first appearance and had no bond. But in that little things, cop let me have the bond. Her roommate paid her early, allowed me to get out, to turn myself into probation, to have that encounter with my mom to catch me doing wrong, to get this whole ball rolling the way it would have. Otherwise, I was probably going to prison for 70 months and just going to learn how to be a really good criminal in there.
Oh,
I build probably a prison community, maybe, I don't know, but
that is so good.
it,
I'm just
it was such
amazed.
a fine-tuned thing.
Oh yeah, no, trust me, I've seen it in my life. Things happen that I'm just like, wait, what? And you can't make it up. You can't make up the stuff that happens, right? You're just like,
Right.
you can't make it up. It's God's hand. So, but yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up and I'm so grateful for you that you did this. And, I pray blessings over your channel and your fragrance business. And, God bless you. And thank you so much. I'm gonna put your YouTube channel at the bottom in the link below. And,
Thank you.
you'll get some subscribers off of that and probably some sales, I hope. And I thank you. And thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you next time.